He lifts a wine glass toward me on the stage, smiling, while the room waits for me to shrink. The ballroom is too bright to hide anything, a white spill of light that makes every face legible and every reaction permanent, and I am standing at center stage with a wireless mic clipped to my lapel, the small red indicator glowing like a dare. Evan Whitlock leans into the lectern with the ease of someone who has never had to ask permission. His jacket open, his watch catching the light, his parents seated in the first row with their practiced smiles already warmed. "Let's toast our partners," he says, voice carried cleanly by the speakers, especially the ones who know how to take a joke. A ripple of laughter moves through the room, uneven, a few sharp laughs too loud, a few silences too long. I feel the mic tug when I breathe a reminder that my voice is available whether I choose to use it or not. And my immediate goal is painfully simple: walk off this stage intact without giving him what he wants. "Come on," Evan adds, lifting the glass higher. "It's just wine." His mother tilts her head and laughs, light and approving. "Don't be so serious," she calls out. His father doesn't laugh. He folds his arms, a posture that says the outcome is already decided. Phones rise in the periphery, the soft rectangles of screens turning toward me, and the room's attention narrows until it feels like a corridor. "You okay up there?" someone whispers from the side of the stage. "She's fine," Evan answers for me, stepping closer, lowering his voice, but not the mic. "She runs a company, right? Thick skin." I smile because the room expects it, not because I feel anything warm, and I adjust my cuff a small tick that steadies me. "We're honored to be here," I say, keeping my tone level, each word measured to avoid feeding the moment. "Let's keep this professional." Evan's grin widens. "Professional," he repeats, tasting it. "Relax. This crowd loves authenticity." The laughter returns louder now, and I notice the way it travels front tables first, then back like permission moving outward. The stage manager at the edge gives me a look that asks whether to cut the mic. I give a fractional shake of my head. "She doesn't need saving," Evan says, and taps the mic lightly with his finger. The tap booms through the speakers and draws another laugh. "Say something," he prompts, a needle wrapped in velvet. "Tell them how you feel." I look past him, cataloging exits, cameras, the way the light washes the far wall, until it looks like a screen waiting for an image. "Let's continue," I say. "We have a schedule. Schedules." He scoffs, glancing at his father, who nods once. "We make those," a woman near the aisle murmurs. This is awkward, and her companion hushes her. The wine glass hovers inches from my suit, the scent sharp, deliberate, and I step back just enough to keep it from touching me. "Careful," Evan says, mock concerned. "Wouldn't want a stain." "We're live," the tech whispers again. I know I answer, eyes forward. "Then say it." Evan insists. "Say thank you." "Thank you," I reply, and the word lands flat, unadorned. His mother claps twice, a polite seal. "See," she says. She's got humor. His father leans to his mother and murmurs something I can't hear. She laughs again, and that laughter is different, confident, satisfied. The mic pulls when I inhale the clip warm against my skin, and I feel the room deciding who I am allowed to be in this moment. "Let's raise our glasses," Evan announces, turning away from me as if the matter is settled. "To partnerships that know their place." A murmur ripples, and a few people hesitate before lifting their glasses, the delay small but visible. In the glare of the stage lights, I understand that silence will hurt him more than any speech. I step back from the lectern, letting him fill the space he craves, and the cameras follow the movement instinctively. "She's quiet," Evan says, amused. Must be thinking. She always thinks his father says not unkindly, not kindly either. That's why she's useful. A man near the back clears his throat. Someone else lowers their glass. The tech looks at me again, a question in his eyes. "Cut." "Not yet," I say. Evan lifts his glass higher, holding it there too long. The gesture turning from joke to test, and the room leans forward, waiting for me to flinch or comply. I don't. I let the moment stretch until the laughter thins, and the quiet sharpens until the phone's steady and the audience realizes they're watching something they'll be asked about later. Evan's smile tightens. "All right," he says, forcing a chuckle. "Let's move on." He taps the mic again, harder this time. A small act of control, and the sound cracks through the speakers. "Next slide," he calls. Nothing happens. The light stays on us, unblinking, and the pause grows teeth. I step to the edge of the stage, the mic still live, the red indicator unwavering, and I feel the door of this room begin to close behind us softly, decisively. The mic stays hot, the glass stays raised, and the room learns who will be moving next. I'm Alicia Monroe, 41, a CEO from Atlanta, Georgia. The morning of the event had been quieter than it deserved to be, the kind of calm that pretended to be neutral while quietly choosing sides, and I remembered standing just off the ballroom floor during the pre-event walkthrough with a folded guest list warming in my hands as if it had been used too recently. The lights were already up. Not the theatrical blaze from the stage, but a working brightness that revealed cables taped to the floor staff, moving chairs by inches, the faint hum of the HVAC settling into its rhythm, and my immediate goal had been simple. Then, too, make sure the logistics matched what had been promised. Align expectations. Avoid friction. "You're early," Marcus Hale said, glancing at his tablet, his voice low and professional. "I like to see the room before it sees me," I replied. He nodded. "Ballroom's clean. Projectors tested. Seating set per the chart." I unfolded the guest list, scanning names and table numbers, noting where power clustered and where it pretended not to. "Who approved the last-minute changes?" I asked. "Came down from upstairs," Marcus said, careful. "Family request." "Which family?" I asked. He gave a small shrug. "You know which." A staffer brushed past us, whispering into a headset. "Sound check in 5. "Copy," Marcus said. I refolded the list, aligning edges, an old habit, when I needed my hands to do something precise. "We'll keep it professional," I said. "Always do." He answered a phrase that landed heavier than intended. Evan Whitlock appeared at the edge of the room, jacket slung over one shoulder, smiling like he owned the air. "Morning," he called. "You ready for the show?" "We're here for the work," I said. "Same thing," he replied, grinning. "Crowd likes a little edge." "Crowds like clarity," I said. "We'll give them both," he said, already turning away. His mother followed, laughing at something on her phone. "Isn't this place gorgeous?" she said to no one in particular. "It photographs beautifully. We'll make sure the lighting flatters everyone," Marcus said. "Oh, don't worry," she replied. "We never do." I watched them move to the front row, their ease unearned but effective, and I felt the first faint tug of something that didn't have a name yet. Stage lights made faces, readable intentions less so. I slipped the guest list into my folder and walked the perimeter, listening to the room assemble itself, the scrape of chairs, the clink of glassware, the low jokes between staff. Alicia Lena Brooks said, catching up to me with her tablet tucked under her arm. "They moved you from table 7 to the stage holding area." "On whose authority?" I asked. "It came through as a note," she said. "No signature." "Find the original," I said, quietly. "Got it," she said, eyes sharp. "You think it's intentional?" "I think it's specific," I said. Evan drifted back over hands in pockets. "You're going to love this," he said. "We've got a toast planned." To what? I asked. "Partnership," he said. "And humor." "Humor requires consent," I said. He laughed. "You're not serious, are you?" "I am," I said. His smile thinned for a second before returning. "Relax," he said. "My parents adore you." "They don't know me," I said. "They know your numbers," he said. "That's enough." Margaret Whitlock leaned in, her tone light. "We're all friends here," she said. "No need to be stiff." "I'm not stiff," I said. "I'm prepared." "Same thing," she replied and laughed. Richard Whitlock watched without expression. "Schedule still tight?" he asked Marcus. "On time," Marcus said. "Good," Richard said. "No delays." "We'll keep it moving," I said. "We always do." Richard replied, echoing Marcus's phrase, and the repetition registered like a pattern. A staffer approached with a clipboard. Seating confirmation, she said. We need a sign-off. From whom, I asked. She hesitated. From upstairs. I'll review, I said, and she handed it over, relief flashing across her face. I didn't sign. I folded the guest list again once more than necessary and tucked it away. You're quiet, Evan said. Thinking, I replied. About what order, I said. We've ordered everything, he said. No, I said. We've arranged it. He laughed. You sound like a lawyer. I listened to them, I said. He rolled his eyes. Don't tell Dana, he said, and the casual reference landed like a breadcrumb. She's busy, Margaret said. Always is, I replied. The lights brightened incrementally, the room shifting from setup to spectacle, and with it the behavior changed. Voices, softened movements, sharpened smiles, practiced. Sound check, a tech called. Mic on stage. I'll pass, Evan said. Surprise is better. We need a test, Marcus said. We're fine, Evan replied. Trust me. Trust works both ways, I said. Sure, Evan said, and stepped onto the stage anyway, tapping the mic lightly. The sound echoed crisp and loud. See, he said. Works. Please don't do that, Marcus said. We'll cue you. Evan hopped down satisfied. You worry too much, he said to me. Worry is a job requirement, I said. Lena returned breath-controlled. Original seating chart didn't include the stage bit, she murmured. This version was sent 30 minutes ago, from I asked. No header, she said. But it came from the Whitlock domain. I nodded. Thank you. Do you want me to? Not yet, I said. We wait. For what she asked. For it to declare itself, I said. The first guests began to enter a tide of tailored suits and practiced charm, and the room's temperature rose. Pile Margaret called to me as she waved at someone important. They're watching. They always are, I said. Evan clapped his hands. Places, he announced, enjoying the authority of the word. Let's make this fun. Let's make it accurate, I said. He grinned. Same thing. When the lights warmed and the room leaned in, I felt the order quietly tilt against me. I stepped back toward the holding area, the folded guest list pressing into my palm like a reminder, and listened as the room finished choosing its mood. The lights brightened, the list folded tighter, and I decided to let them go first. The back office smells like toner and citrus wipes, a narrow rectangle behind the ballroom where staff stash boxes and secrets, and I am standing at a folding table with a printed seating chart spread flat beneath my palms. The paper still warm from the copier. The chart is precise. Table numbers, aligned, sponsor names, bolded aisles measured, and my immediate goal is to reconcile it with the folded guest list I'd been given earlier without alerting anyone who might be listening through walls that suddenly feel thin. Door, I ask. Lena Brooks closes it softly, not all the way, leaving a finger-width gap that keeps the room honest. You sure, she asks? Yes, I say. We keep air. The chart shows my name adjacent to the stage holding area, not at table 7 where the earlier plan placed me, and the change is clean enough to pass as operational. This isn't an accident, Lena says. No, I reply. It's an intention. She sets her tablet down and pulls up an image, brightness lowered. I found the message, she says. It came through the Whitlock domain relay. Show me, I say. She rotates the screen. It's a screenshot of an internal email header cropped but intact enough to identify origin, a short ref code in the subject line WLK9F, and a footer noting a generic location tag, back office. There's no signature, Lena says, but the routing is specific. Read it, I say, out loud. She hesitates. Please, I add, we need the cost. Move Monroe to stage proximity, Lena reads. Ensure visibility during toast. Keep tone light. Who sent it, I ask. The sender field's masked, she says, but the relay trace points upstairs. Time, I ask. She glances. 11:42 a.m. I nod once. That's close enough to be deliberate, far enough to claim coincidence if challenged. If anyone asks, Lena says I wasn't here. You were, I say. And you'll be fine. You're calm, she says. I'm contained, I reply. A knock taps the door twice, not waiting. We need a signature on the seating confirmation, a staffer calls. 1 minute, I say. Make it quick, a male voice adds from the hall. We're tight. We're accurate, I say louder than necessary. Lena snaps the tablet dark. Do we save it? She asks. Yes, I say. Duplicate it. We're offline, I say. Name it plainly. Plane gets lost, she says. Plane survives, I reply. The staffer opens the door a crack, eyes darting to the table. Just checking, she says. We're good, I say. Please wait outside. She nods and retreats. You know they'll say it's logistics, Lena says. They always do. Logistics leave fingerprints. I say, smoothing the chart. This one left a glove. Evan's laugh carries faintly from the hall, bright and unbothered. He's already warming the room, Lena says. Let him, I reply. Warm rooms make mistakes. She watches me measuring. If this goes public. Not yet, I say. First we make it undeniable. What's the risk, she asks. Of being seen, I say. Of being early. Early to what? To the part where they pretend not to understand, I say. I pick up the printed chart and hold it against the tablet image, aligning margins. The discrepancy is subtle stage adjacency, marked with a code that doesn't appear elsewhere. This is the tell, I say. It's designed to look neutral. It's cruel, Lena says. Cruel likes neutral fonts, I reply. A second knock, firmer. We're calling sound check, Marcus's voice says. 2 minutes. Copy, I say. Lena tucks the tablet into her bag. Do you want me nearby? She asks. Yes, I say. But not close. And the email, I'll hold it, I say. If asked. By whom, she asks. Anyone who smiles too easily, I say. The door opens again, Evan leaning in without asking. There you are, he says. We're about to start. You good? I'm reviewing, I say. Review later, he says. The crowd's here. Accuracy first, I say. He glances at the chart. Looks fine, he says. It's paper. Paper remembers, I say. He chuckles. You really are intense. Intensity prevents mistakes, I say. Relax, he says. This is supposed to be fun. For whom, I ask. He pauses a beat. For everyone, he says. Say it again. Your title is Air Partner, not Operations, I say evenly. His smile tightens. Careful, he says. This room hears everything. Good, I say. Then we're aligned. He steps back. 2 minutes, he repeats and leaves. Lena exhales. That was a line, she says. It was a boundary, I reply. Same difference, she says. Only to people who cross them, I say. Marcus appears at the door, eyes flicking to Lena's bag. All set, he asks. Almost, I say. One question. Shoot. Who authorized the stage proximity? He hesitates. Family, he says. In writing? Not exactly, he says. Then it's not authorized, I say. We're live, he says. So are consequences, I reply. He studies me. You want me to stop the program? No, I say. I want you to observe. Observe what the room, I say. And the equipment. He nods once. I'll keep an eye, he says. Do I say? When he leaves, Lena whispers, This is risky. So is pretending, I say. I slide the chart into my folder and tuck the tablet image into my jacket pocket, feeling the edge through the fabric like a compass. If they ask later, Lena begins. I'll answer later, I say. Right now, we let the intention declare itself. She nods and steps out. Alone, I listen to the ballroom swell, the sound of bodies settling into seats, glassware chiming the low thrum of expectation. Stage lights make faces, readable intentions less so. I check the folder once more, ensuring the ref code is visible, the location tag intact, nothing ornamental that could be dismissed as gossip. The email's plain wording turns the seating chart into a map of intent, not logistics. I straighten my jacket, square my shoulders, and step toward the door. Evan's voice booms as he welcomes the crowd, the mic crisp. I wait for a lull for the moment where timing matters. Someone laughs too loudly. Someone else doesn't. The door opens light, spilling into the back office like an invitation and a test, and I step through with the chart held low, my posture neutral, my expression unreadable. With the chart tucked close and the ref code memorized, I walk toward the light they set. The ballroom was full when I stepped back into it, the air warmed by bodies and expectation, and the light had shifted from set-up brightness to something flatter and less forgiving, designed to make faces readable from the stage. I took my place just off the lectern, as Evan paced, wireless confidence humming through the room, and my immediate goal narrowed to one thing: let the room witness what had already been arranged. Marcus Hale stood near the control table with the projector remote resting against his palm, his thumb hovering like it knew it would be asked to move. "Ladies and gentlemen," Evan said, smiling wide, "thank you for being here." Applause rolled, dutiful and uneven. "We love celebrating partnerships," he continued, "especially the kind that can take a little humor." Laughter followed, encouraged. "Before we begin," I said quietly to Marcus, "keep the feed ready." "Ready," he murmured. Evan glanced over. "Everything okay?" "Perfect," I said. "Then let's toast," he said, lifting his glass again, eyes cutting toward me. "To our partners." His mother laughed from the front row, light and approving. "Loosen up," she called. "It's a party." "It's recorded," someone near the aisle whispered. "Good," Evan said, hearing it. "Authenticity plays well on camera." A phone light blinked on. Another followed. "Smile," Evan said to me sotto voce, the mic still hot. "The room likes you better when you smile." "We'll see," I replied. He laughed. "She's sharp," he told the crowd. "Don't let the suit fool you." "Read the clause out loud," I said calmly. Not into the mic, but close enough. The room should hear it. He blinked. "What clause?" "The one you used," I said. "Relax," he said, turning back to the audience. "We're keeping it light." "Marcus," I said. He looked at me, then at the screen. "On your cue," he said. Evan raised his glass higher. "To knowing your place," he said, a grin tugging at the corners of his mouth. A few laughs died mid-breath. "Hold," I said. Marcus pressed the remote. The projector hummed, the glow widening across the far wall, until the screen snapped into focus with a still image pulled clean from the venue system. It was a CCTV frame labeled with a generic location tag, Ballroom West Entry, and a small time of day stamp in the corner, 6:18 p.m., crisp enough to read from the back. The image showed Evan near the stage edge earlier, glass-tilted mic. Live, my name visible on a printed seating chart, clipped to a board beside him. A murmur spread. "What's that?" someone asked. "Is that—" "We don't show internals," Evan said quickly. "That's not scheduled. It's public space," Marcus said evenly. "Cameras standard." Margaret Whitlock's laugh faltered. "Is this necessary?" she asked. "It's already happened," I said into the mic, my voice carrying without strain. "We're simply watching it." Evan stepped closer to Marcus. "Turn it off," he said low. "Your badge is blue. Mine is cleared." "Don't pretend," Marcus replied, not raising his voice. Phones lifted higher. A ripple moved through the crowd, curiosity tightening into attention. "This is out of context," Evan said to the room. "It's a joke." "Read the seating," a woman near table 12 said. "Why is her name there?" "That's ops," Evan said. "Logistics." "Logistics don't toast," I said. "They plan." "You're making this weird," he said, smiling too hard. "Keep smiling. Your email header is on the screen," someone else called, and a laugh snapped off short when they realized it wasn't a joke. Margaret leaned toward her husband. "Do something," she whispered. Richard Whitlock stood. "We'll address this later," he said. "Sit down," a voice said from the back. "Let it play." The still changed as Marcus clicked again, a second frame appearing side by side with a small seat identifier, visible on the chart T7B, the code matching the earlier plan that had been altered. "That's not my seat," someone said. "It never was," another replied. Evan lifted his glass and set it down too hard on the lectern, the clink sharp. "This is inappropriate," he said. "We're live," Marcus said. "Exactly," I said. "So let's be accurate." A man near the aisle laughed once, then stopped. "Why was the mic on?" he asked. "Who turned it on?" "Sound check," Evan said. "You tapped it," Marcus said. "We heard it." The crowd shifted, first laughter, then silence, then the rustle of people leaning to see. "This feels targeted," Margaret said. "It was," I replied. "At me." "Say it again. Your title is Air Partner, not Operations," I added into the mic. This time, my words steady. A hush fell. Evan's jaw tightened. "You're out of line," he said. "That seat number isn't yours." "It never was," I replied, nodding to the screen. Someone clapped once, uncertain, then stopped. "Turn it off," Evan said again. "No," Marcus said. "We're past that." When the projector glow filled the room, the laughter collapsed into a silence that belonged to facts. Evan looked at his parents. Margaret shook her head, smiling thinly. "This is a misunderstanding," she said. "It's a pattern," I said. "Captured. Captured where someone asked." "Right there," Marcus said, gesturing. "Time-stamped. Public space." "You planned this," Evan said, pointing at me. "I prepared," I replied. "There's a difference." "We should move on," Richard said, voice firm. "We'll handle this privately. We're handling it publicly," a woman near the back said. "You started it here." Evan leaned into the mic, lowering his voice. "You want to do this now?" "You already did," I said. He glanced at the screen again, at the clear lines and labels that refused to soften. "Cut the feed," he said. "We can't," Marcus said. "Phones are up." A man laughed, brittle. "Guess the room likes authenticity," he said. Evan's smile vanished. He turned to me. "You think this wins you points?" "It gives the room the truth," I said. "Points follow." The projector hummed on, steady and indifferent, as the crowd settled into a new posture, not entertained, not cruel, but attentive. Under the bright screen and hotter silence, the room stopped laughing and started watching. The corridor outside the ballroom felt narrower after the screen went dark, as if the walls had leaned in to hear what the room had decided, and I walked with the clipboard balanced against my forearm. The incident log clipped neatly on top. My immediate goal, shifting from exposure to continuity. Keep the record intact, keep people honest. Keep the story from being rewritten in whispers. Staff moved with careful eyes, voices lowered. "Are we continuing?" someone asked. "Program resumes in 5, Marcus said from behind me. 5. Evan snapped, rounding the corner. "We're off schedule." "You said no delays," Marcus replied. "This isn't a delay," Evan said. "It's a disruption." "It's documentation," I said. He laughed once, brittle. "You really think a clipboard beats a room? Rooms forget," I said. "Logs don't." He leaned closer. "Hand that over." "No," I said. "Policy," Marcus added. "Policy works when it wants to." Evan said. "Read the clause out loud," I said. "The room should hear it." "Not this again," Evan said. "You signed the log earlier than this." "The camera contradicts you," Marcus said quietly, eyes on the page. Evan's jaw tightened. "You accusing me?" "I'm aligning times," Marcus replied. A staffer hovered. "Do you need me to stand by?" I said. "We're documenting." I scanned the log, a simple grid with columns for incident location, badge, color, and acknowledgement. The entry in question was clean but wrong. My name listed as stage proximity, with a badge color noted as silver, a designation reserved for speakers already cleared. "Who entered this?" I asked. "Ops desk," the staffer said. "Which operator?" "It came in as a directive," she said. From upstairs. Write that, I said. Where, she asked. In the margin, I said. Initial it. She hesitated. It's okay, Marcus said. This protects you. She wrote, handshaking slightly. You're making a mountain, Evan said. Out of what I asked. A joke, he said. Jokes don't change badge colors, I replied. They don't alter clearance. Margaret Whitlock appeared, smile reassembled. This is all very intense, she said. Let's take a breath. We did, I said. On stage. You embarrassed my son, she said. He embarrassed himself, I replied. Say it again. Your title is Air Partner, not Operations, Marcus said, steady. Careful, Margaret said, eyes flashing. Careful is what we're doing, I said. Richard Whitlock joined them, voice low. We'll resolve this privately, he said. After the event, I said. Not before the record is complete. You don't have authority over ops, Evan said. Not directly, I replied. But policy does. Policy is flexible, he said. Logs aren't, I replied. A man with a headset leaned in. We need a decision, he said. Audience is restless. We're on, Marcus said. 2 minutes. Evan scoffed. You think people care about a log? People care about patterns, I said. And you just showed them one. He leaned closer, voice dropping. You're not as powerful as you think. Power isn't what I think I said. It's what holds. I turned the clipboard so the entry was visible, the ink still wet at the margin. Location, I asked the staffer. Ballroom West entry, she said. Badge color silver, she repeated. Acknowledger, I asked. She swallowed. Ops desk, she said. No name. Add that, I said. Initial. She did. Evan threw up his hands. This is ridiculous. Ridiculous is pretending this didn't happen, I said. Marcus nodded. We keep rolling, he said. I'll notify the desk. Do not, Evan said. Do, I said. It's required. By whom, Evan demanded. By the log, Marcus said, and by policy. Margaret laughed softly. You're enjoying this, she said to me. I'm ensuring accuracy, I replied. Enjoyment is a projection. Richard studied the page. If we concede the log, he said, what then? Then the program proceeds, I said, with clarity. And if we don't, he asked. Then the log proceeds, I said, with consequences. Evan stepped back, eyes darting. You think a piece of paper scares us? No, I said. I think what it connects to does. What does it connect to? He asked. Time, I said. And permission. He scoffed. You don't have either. I have both, I said. I'm just not spending them yet. A woman from comms approached. We need a statement, she said. Do we? I asked. Yes, she said. For the press. Say this, I said. The event continues as scheduled. Nothing else, she asked. Nothing else, I said. Evan laughed. That's your big move. It's restraint, I said. Watch. Marcus tapped his earpiece. Desk acknowledged, he said. Log received. Evan's smile faded. Received where he asked. System, Marcus replied. Logged. Undo it, Evan said. Can't, Marcus said. It's time-stamped internally. Evan turned to his father. Fix this, he said. Richard exhaled. We proceed, he said. For now. Good, I said. Proceeding creates records. The staffer looked relieved. Thank you, she whispered. You did your job, I said. That's thanks enough. Evan glared. You think this breaks us? No, I said. It clarifies you. He shook his head. You'll regret this. Regret is for unforced errors, I said. This was forced. Marcus signaled toward the ballroom. We're back, he said. I tucked the clipboard under my arm, feeling the weight of the paper settle into something solid. The incident log snapped the timeline into place, turning laughter into a documented choice. We stepped toward the light again, the room humming with the low energy of people who sense a shift, but can't yet name it. and Evan fell in beside me, voice low. "This isn't over," he said. "It's recorded," I replied. With the log clipped tight and initials drying, the room's order quietly fractured. The small conference room off the ballroom smelled faintly of coffee and new carpet, a neutral space designed to cool emotions that were already running hot. And I sat at the narrow table with a sealed legal envelope centered between my hands, its edge aligned with the grain of the wood, as if precision itself might keep the room honest. Dana Kessler arrived without flourish, blazer, still buttoned eyes, scanning faces before objects, and my immediate goal crystallized: bind what the room felt to what the contract allowed, without haste, without speeches. "You asked for speed?" Dana said, placing her tablet down. "I brought clarity." "Open it," I said, nodding to the envelope. "Here," Evan asked from the doorway, leaning against the frame. "Yes," I replied. "Now." Dana broke the seal with a clean tear and slid a single page forward, the paper heavier than it looked. "Clause 14.2, she said. "Termination and suspension rights." Evan scoffed. "That's boilerplate." "Read the clause out loud," I said. "The room should hear it." "This isn't the room," he said. "It's the point," I replied. Dana read voice even. "In the event of reputational harm arising from conduct at a sponsored event, capital deployment may be paused or withdrawn at the sole discretion of the approving party." She tapped a line. "Approving party defined here." "That's not you," Evan said. "Say it again. Your title is heir partner, not approving authority," Dana said, eyes never leaving the page. Evan's jaw tightened. "You're stretching," he said. "I'm citing," Dana replied. She turned the page to a header with a short reference code, CL 14B, and a masked account line beneath it. 82, printed cleanly. "This clause attaches to the account routing you requested," she said, "the same routing that required silver clearance." "So what?" Evan said. "So the trigger is met," Dana replied. "What trigger?" Margaret asked, voice light but brittle. "Public reputational harm," Dana said. "Captured. Documented." Richard folded his arms. "We haven't conceded that," he said. "You displayed it," Dana replied. "On a screen, with witnesses." Marcus stood by the wall, arms crossed. "And a camera," he added. "One camera doesn't decide," Evan said. "Crowds do," Dana replied. "And policies." "You're enjoying this," Margaret said to Dana. "I bill by the hour," Dana replied. "Enjoyment isn't relevant." I slid the envelope back toward the center. "Time matters," I said. "Does it?" Evan asked. "Yes," I said. "Because the window closes." "What window?" he asked. Dana checked her watch. "Approval windows are batch processed," she said. "Next cycle locks in." She glanced in minutes. "You're bluffing," Evan said. "Read the clause out loud," Marcus said. "The room should hear it." Evan laughed sharply. "You all rehearsed that." "We rehearsed compliance," I said. "You rehearsed spectacle." Dana placed her finger under a line. "This sentence," she said. "Sole discretion. That's not shared." "Who holds it?" Richard asked. "The approving party," Dana said. "Defined in Schedule C." She slid another page forward, the paper whispering. Evan leaned in. "This is ridiculous," he said. "You can't pull capital over a joke." "Jokes don't carry clearance codes," Dana replied. "They don't change routing. Your badge is blue, mine is cleared." "Don't pretend," Marcus said quietly, not looking at Evan. Margaret laughed once, then stopped. "We'll address this later," she said. "After the gala." "The clause doesn't wait for dessert," Dana said. "It responds to triggers." Richard studied the page. "If we contest," he said, "what happens?" "We litigate," Dana replied. "And the pause remains." "For how long?" Evan demanded. Dana shrugged. "As long as it takes." "You're threatening us," Evan said. "No," Dana replied. "We're describing consequences." I spoke, then measured. Under brighter light, the clause tightened like a chain. No one laughed. "You think silence scares us?" Evan asked me. "Silence is a verdict," I replied. When it's documented. Dana nodded once. We can notify now, she said. Or wait until the window closes. Notify whom Evan asked. Approvals, Dana said. And compliance. Marcus's earpiece chirped softly. Ops confirms batch at. He glanced in a few. Stop, Evan said. We'll fix this. Fix requires authority, Dana said. Do you have it? Evan looked to his parents. Margaret's smile wavered. Richard exhaled. What do you want? He asked me. Accuracy, I said. And time to do its work. Dana slid the envelope back to me. Your call, she said. Now or later. Evan stepped closer, voice low. You do this and you make enemies. I already have facts, I replied. Enemies come with them. Dana gathered her papers. We'll be ready, she said. Either way. Evan threw up his hands. You think a clause beats influence? Influence doesn't rewrite contracts, Dana replied. It tries. Keep smiling, your email header is on the screen, Marcus said almost kindly. Evan's face flushed. You're all crossing a line, he said. Lines are what keep rooms standing, I replied. Dana paused at the door. Clock's ticking, she said. Choose. Evan said nothing. Richard looked away. Margaret adjusted her bracelet. The room hummed with the low sound of HVAC and restraint. With the sealed envelope open and the claw's undeniable power shifted from laughter to ink. I gathered the papers and stood. The chain tightened quietly, and the window narrowed to a single choice. The hallway outside the conference room felt monitored now, not crowded, but alert. And I noticed it first, in the way conversations dropped when I passed, and in the faint click of a security earpiece against Marcus Hale's collar as he leaned toward me. My immediate goal shifting again, raise pressure without tipping the room into open defiance. Ops is hearing chatter, Marcus said quietly. From where I asked. Front desk catering a few guests, he replied. Phones are out. Good, I said. Accuracy travels faster when people think they're whispering. Evan paced a few steps away, jaw set, checking his phone while his parents stood together and practiced proximity, united but watchful. You can't freeze capital on hearsay, Evan said, stopping short of us. This is theater. Witness isn't hearsay, I said. It's a record. Whose witness, he demanded. The one who watched you cue the moment I replied. Marcus touched his earpiece. She's ready, he said. Bring her in, I said. Evan scoffed. You're parading staff now. We're listening, I said. A woman stepped forward from the side corridor badge, clipped low hands clasped, to keep them from shaking. This is Priya, Marcus said. She was posted near Ballroom West entry. Evan laughed. Of course she was. Say it again, your title is air partner, not security, Marcus said, voice even. Priya took a breath. I was assigned crowd flow, she said. I heard the tap on the mic during setup and saw the seating board clipped near the stage, and Evan prompted, smiling too fast. And I heard you tell someone to keep it live, she said. You said it would land better. A murmur rippled. That's not what I said, Evan snapped. You're mistaken. I'm not, Priya said. It was clear. Clear enough to write, I said. Can you? She nodded. Yes. Location, I asked. Ballroom West entry, she said. Badge color, silver, she replied. Time. She paused. Just before guests were let in. Don't guess, Evan said. Be exact. I can be? Priya said, steadying. I checked the board clock after. We'll capture relative time, Marcus said. No dates. This is ridiculous, Margaret said. You're intimidating her. We're protecting her, I said. Write it, Marcus said, offering a form. Priya took the pen, hesitated once, then wrote, adding a short witness code, W17, and initialed. Read it, Evan said sharply. Read it out loud. No, Marcus said. We don't perform statements. Afraid? Evan asked. Professional, Marcus replied. Richard cleared his throat. We acknowledge a statement exists, he said. that's all. Acknowledgement is the point, I said. It cedes authority. Evan looked at me. You're stacking this, he said. Yes, I replied. Because stacks don't fall over. He leaned closer, lowering his voice. You think a few staffers can threaten us? I think patterns do, I said. And witnesses complete them. Priya handed the form back. Thank you, I said. You did your job. She nodded and stepped away, relief visible. Evan laughed once sharp. You're weaponizing policy, he said. Policy is a mirror, I replied. It shows what you do. Marcus's earpiece crackled. He listened, then met my eyes. Compliance is asking for status, he said. They heard about the statement. Evan stiffened. Who told them phones? Marcus said. And the room. Margaret stepped forward, smile brittle. We should take a break, she said. Let things cool. Cooling changes nothing, I said. Heat reveals. You want us cornered, Evan said. I want clarity, I replied. Cornering is your word. Richard looked at the form. If this proceeds, he said, authority arrives. It's already on standby, Marcus said. Seated. Evan's eyes flashed. You called them? We informed, Marcus said. There's a difference. You're escalating, Evan said. Yes, I replied. Because delay rewards whoever started this. He shook his head. You're going to regret making this public. Public is where it began, I said. We're matching venues. Marcus leaned in. Security confirms, he murmured. If requested, they're 5 out. Not yet, I said. Evan smirked. Afraid to pull the trigger. Disciplined enough not to? I replied. He scoffed. You don't have the nerve. Nerve isn't required, I said. Sequence is. Richard exhaled. What do you want now? He asked. Nothing new, I said. Just that the statement sits. And then Evan asked. Then time, I said. And one more confirmation. Marcus touched his earpiece again, listening. Desk logged witness W17, he said. System acknowledged. Evan froze. Logged where compliance queue. Marcus replied. On standby. Evan turned away, jaw clenched. This is absurd. It's orderly, I said. A guest poked his head into the corridor. Everything okay? He asked. Yes, I said. We're documenting. Huh, he said, glancing at Evan. Looked rough out there. Evan snapped. Get back to your table. Relax, the man said. We're all watching. Evan swallowed. You think a witness ends this? He said to me. No, I replied. It starts authority. You're enjoying the silence, Margaret said. Silence becomes power when the room finally listens, I replied. No one laughed. Marcus's earpiece clicked again. He nodded once. They're ready when you are, he said. Evan stared at me, calculating. When the witness statement landed, the hallway tightened, and authority leaned closer without stepping in. I straightened my jacket, keeping my voice level. We hold, I said. Let the room finish choosing. Evan shook his head. This isn't over, he muttered. With the earpiece alive and the witness logged, the next knock was already waiting. The holding room off the ballroom had been cleared of chairs, leaving a single high table under a light that hummed faintly, and I stood with a time-stamped CCTV still laid flat beneath my fingers, the glossy paper catching the glare in a way that refused to soften edges. My immediate goal was no longer containment. It was inversion, turn the assumption of arrogance into proof of orchestration without adding noise. Marcus Hale leaned against the wall security earpiece, quiet for once, while Dana Kessler stood beside me, phone face down, waiting for the moment when sound would matter more than sight. Evan hovered near the doorway, restless confidence recalibrating itself into irritation. You've made your point, he said. Let's move on. We're almost there, I replied. Almost to what he asked. To understanding, I said. Dana slid a small audio recorder onto the table, palm open, no flourish. This was captured during setup, she said. Source verified. Evan laughed. You record everyone now. Only when instructed. Dana replied. And only in public operational spaces. Play it, Evan said. If you're so sure. Before that, I said, tapping the still image look again. The frame showed Evan earlier that evening angled toward the mic stand seating board clipped nearby the corner of the printed chart, visible with a small identifier, T7B, and a time of day stamp in the corner that matched the flow of the evening without pinning it to a calendar. It's a picture, Evan said. Pictures lie. Audio doesn't, Dana said. It preserves sequence. Marcus nodded once. Phones caught some of it too, he added. But this is cleaner. Evan smirked. You think a clip changes anything? It changes the story, I said. From impulse to instruction. Dana pressed play. The room filled with a low rustle. Then Evan's voice, casual and unguarded, the mic feedback faint in the background. Keep it live, the recording captured. Don't kill it. Let it land. A pause. Another voice, uncertain. Even if Evan again. It'll be fine. She can handle it. People love a little edge. The sound clicked off. Silence thickened, not shocked, but recalibrating. That's out of context, Evan said quickly. You cut it. No, Dana replied. It's continuous. Play the rest. Margaret said, stepping forward, smile fixed. Dana shook her head. That's the relevant portion. Relevant to what Evan snapped. Intent, I said. And control. You're twisting, Evan said. We're aligning, I replied. The clip pairs with the still. Marcus gestured to the image. Sequence matches, he said. Instruction precedes event. Evan scoffed. You can't prove timing. We don't need to, Dana said. We need pattern. Richard Whitlock studied the table, eyes moving from paper to recorder. This is dangerous, he said. For everyone. Only for people who mistake rooms for shields, I replied. Evan leaned in, voice low. You think this traps me? No, I said. It frees the room from guessing. You're enjoying this, Margaret said again. I'm finishing it, I replied. A staffer hovered at the door. They're asking if we're resuming, she said. Soon, Marcus replied. Evan pointed at the recorder. You play that out there and you make enemies. Enemies already exist, I said. This makes facts. Dana slid the recorder back. We don't need to play it publicly, she said. Not yet. Evan's eyes flicked to her. Not yet. Correct, she said, because the clip's function is leverage. Leverage for what Evan demanded. For the next step, I said. He laughed brittle. You're bluffing again. Read the clause out loud, Marcus said. The room should hear it. Evan threw his hands up. Enough with the script. It's not a script, I said. It's a sequence. Richard exhaled. What sequence? Still, I said, tapping the image. Then instruction, nodding to the recorder. Then witness. Then policy. And then Evan asked. Then you stop smiling, I said. He did. Margaret reached for his arm. We'll fix this, she whispered. How? He whispered back. Dana checked her watch without comment. Marcus's earpiece chirped once softly. Phones are buzzing, he said. People are asking what they heard. They heard the room change, I said. Evan glared. You think a private clip wins? It flips, I replied. Private becomes provable. You're not playing it, he said. We don't need to, I said. It exists. Dana nodded. And it pairs. Evan laughed hollow. You're holding back to scare us. We're holding back to be precise, I said. A guest peeked in. Is there a delay? He asked. No, I said. Just alignment. Seem tense, he said, glancing at Evan. Truth often is, I replied. He shrugged and left. Evan shook his head. You think this ends well? It ends accurately, I said. Outcomes follow. Marcus leaned closer. If you want, he murmured, we can cue the next scene. Not yet, I said. Evan smirked. Still waiting. Yes, I said. For the room to catch up to what it already knows. Dana gathered the still and the recorder, placing them side by side in a slim folder. "We're ready," she said. Evan stared at the objects, then at me. "You're cold," he said. "I'm clear," I replied. When the audio met the image, the joke collapsed into instruction, and the room recalculated blame. Evan took a step back, recalibrating again, confidence now edged with calculation. "You'll regret timing," he said. "Timing is the point," I replied. "And it's ours." Marcus's earpiece clicked once more. He nodded. "They're asking for confirmation," he said. "Soon," I said. With the recorder silent and the still undeniable, the trap tightened without a sound. I took the audio recorder from Dana and slipped it into my jacket pocket, feeling its weight settle against my ribs as I moved into the quieter side office overlooking the service corridor, a place where invoices were checked and nothing ornamental ever happened, and my immediate goal narrowed to a single decision: determine when the financial trail would speak louder than any voice in the room. The desk lamp hummed softly light, focused downward, and I laid out the printed approval summary that Lena had delivered minutes earlier, the pages clean, conservative, unarguable. "This is the last gate," Dana said, standing beside me, hands folded. "Once crossed, it's not rhetorical." "I know," I replied. Marcus hovered near the door, earpiece angled, listening to the building breathe. Evan lingered in the doorway, arms crossed, trying to look unconcerned. "You're stalling," he said. "I'm verifying," I replied. "Same thing," he scoffed. I traced the lines with my finger, routing notes, masked account markers. 82, and a neat chain of initials that ended in a small box labeled Final Review. "Who holds that?" Evan asked, leaning forward. "Not you," Dana replied. "Say it again. Your title is Air Partner, not Approving Authority," Marcus added quietly. Evan laughed. "You love that line." "It's accurate," Marcus said. "Accuracy travels." "This doesn't prove anything," Evan said, tapping the page. "It proves sequence," I replied. "And discretion." "Discretion belongs to influence," he said. "Discretion belongs to signatures," Dana replied. "And timing." Evan rolled his eyes. "Timing again. Always," I said. The financial trail showed the approval window opening and closing in predictable cycles, each one logged without sentiment. "You see this?" I asked, turning the page so Evan could see the internal routing note marked Hold Pending. "That's standard," he said. "For uncertainty." "Uncertainty caused by conduct," Dana said. "Captured." "You're manufacturing uncertainty," Evan said. "No," I replied. "You manufactured exposure." He laughed once, then stopped when no one joined him. "You think you can just pull a plug?" he asked. "I think the system pauses when conditions are met," I said. "That's not personal." "It is to us," Margaret said from the hallway, voice strained but composed. "Our partners will panic." "Partners read notices," I replied. "They don't panic at facts." Richard Whitlock stepped in, gaze steady. "If you do this," he said, "you escalate beyond repair." "Repair requires acknowledgement," I replied. "We offered that earlier." "You ambushed us," Evan said. "Publicly. You staged it publicly," I replied. "We documented." Marcus touched his earpiece, listening. "Front desk confirms calls," he said. "People are asking if funds are secure." "They are," I said, "for those who didn't breach." Evan's jaw clenched. "You're enjoying leverage," he said. "I'm respecting process," I replied. Dana slid another page forward. This one a summary of delegated authority, clean and dry. "This shows where the decision lives," she said. Evan glanced, then looked away. "You won't do it," he said. "You don't have the stomach." "Stomachs are irrelevant," I said. "Read the numbers." He laughed hollowly. "You think a spreadsheet beats a family?" "It beats assumptions," Dana replied. I checked the time on the wall clock, not a minute. Just the sense of closeness. "If we proceed," Richard said, "we'll contest." "You can," Dana replied. The pause remains. "For how long?" Margaret asked. As long as the notice stands, Dana said. And the notice stands when issued. Evan paced, then stopped in front of me. This is your last chance to walk it back, he said. Walking back is how mistakes repeat, I replied. Standing still fixes them. He leaned closer. You'll be blamed. Blame follows clarity, I said. It doesn't precede it. Marcus shifted eyes on the hall. Ops confirms readiness, he murmured. They're waiting on your cue. I nodded once. Hold, I said. Evan smirked. Still afraid? Still precise, I replied. Dana gathered the pages, stacking them neatly. Once the notice is cued, she said the system locks. Cue it, Evan snapped. Call your bluff. I'm not bluffing, Dana said. I'm advising. I took the recorder out and set it on the desk beside the approval summary, the two objects aligned. This, I said, tapping the paper, shows discretion. I tapped the recorder. This shows intent. Evan scoffed. You won't connect them. I don't need to, I said. They already are. Richard looked at the door, then back at me. What do you want us to say? He asked. Nothing, I replied. Say nothing and let the notice speak. You're cruel, Margaret said softly. I'm consistent, I replied. Marcus's earpiece clicked. He listened, then nodded. They're asking for confirmation of hold, he said. Evan laughed brittle. Do it, he said. See what happens. I met his eyes. I see what's already happened, I said. When the approval trail aligned with intent, leverage shifted from voices to signatures. Dana inhaled slowly. Your decision, she said. I gathered the papers and slid them back into the folder, closing it with care. Evan watched, eyes narrowing. This ends partnerships, he said. It clarifies them, I replied. Marcus waited still as a hinge. Now he asked. I looked once more at the masked account line, at the neat chain that ended where it always did, and felt the room's noise fall away into something manageable. Not yet, I said. Evan scoffed. Still waiting. For one thing, I replied. What? For the room to understand it can't talk its way out, I said. Evan shook his head. You're impossible. I'm procedural, I replied. With the recorder beside the approvals, the last decision narrowed to a single irreversible move. The ballroom had refilled with a different energy when we returned. Less laughter and more phones held steady, and the stage lights were unforgiving. Now a clean white that flattened excuses before they could form, as I stood behind the glass podium, with a USB drive sealed inside a clear evidence bag resting at my side. My immediate goal was simple and absolute: make the truth publicly undeniable before anyone with a badge stepped forward. Marcus Hale waited near the control table, posture straight, projector remote, aligned with his forearm like a tool that knew its moment. Dana Kessler stood one pace behind me, silent, prepared, while Evan Whitlock paced at the edge of the stage, smile rehearsed and failing. Ladies and gentlemen, he began, attempting control. Thank you for your patience. A murmur rippled. Before we continue, I said, voice calm, amplified evenly, the room deserves clarity. Evan laughed sharply. We've had enough theatrics, he said. This is business. Exactly, I replied. So let's show it. I nodded once. Marcus pressed the remote. The projector hummed, the glow widening until a clean screen appeared, then resolved into a document header with no flourish or withdrawal notice displayed in high contrast, readable from the back, bearing a masked account line. 82, and a generic location tag, Compliance Queue. What is that? Someone asked. It's a notice, Dana said into her mic, measured. Executed. Evan stepped forward. You can't show that, he said. This is confidential. It's effective, Dana replied. Confidentiality doesn't negate consequence. The crowd leaned in the three-step wave, visible first, a few nervous laughs, then silence, then the rustle of people shifting to see better. You're bluffing, Evan said too loudly. Read it, a voice called from the aisle. Read the clause out loud, another added. I lifted my hand. The notice references a clause you've already heard, I said. Termination and suspension rights triggered by public reputational harm. Evan scoffed. This is out of context. Context is on the screen, Dana replied. Marcus clicked again. A second page appeared, a proof packet summary, internal routing notes, the same masked account, and a confirmation stamp labeled accepted. Phones rose higher. That looks real, someone whispered. It is, Dana said. Accepted means effective. Margaret Whitlock stood abruptly. This is an ambush, she said. You're humiliating us. This began as humiliation, I replied. We're ending it as policy. Evan pointed at me. You planned this. I prepared, I said. You performed. He laughed hollow. You think a screen decides? The room does, Marcus said. And it's watching. The screen changed again. The projector glow unwavering, now showing a time-stamped acknowledgement line. No date. Just sequence confirming the withdrawal had been queued and locked. A hush fell. Say it again. Your title is Air Partner, not Approving Authority. Someone called from the back, and the line landed not as insult, but as fact. Evan's face flushed. Turn it off, he said. We're done. Not yet, I said. Now it's complete. I raised the evidence bag slightly so the USB caught the light. This packet, I said, contains the executed notice and the supporting documents already displayed. A man near the aisle laughed once brittle. Guess the plug's real. Evan stepped closer, lowering his voice. You don't have the right. The right is documented, Dana said, and exercised. When the withdrawal notice filled the screen and the acceptance stamp appeared, the room understood money had already moved without asking permission. A ripple of sound followed, not applause, not boos, but recognition. Evan looked to his parents. Margaret's smile had vanished. Richard Whitlock folded his arms, then unfolded them, a small tell. This is not over, Evan said. It's finished, Dana replied. Marcus touched his earpiece. They're here, he said quietly. I waited. From the side entrance, after the screen had settled and the murmurs had stabilized, 2 uniformed compliance officers stepped into view, badges visible but hands open, posture neutral. Authority entered not with noise but with inevitability. We're here to observe, the lead officer, said, voice calm, and to secure records, on whose request Evan demanded. On the systems, the officer replied. Following a public confirmation. Phones flashed. We'll take copies, the officer continued, nodding to the screen and the evidence bag. After that, proceedings continue as scheduled. Evan laughed, sharp and broken. You think this ruins us? It clarifies you, I said. Ruin is optional. Margaret whispered something to Richard. He nodded once tight. We'll contest, he said. You can, Dana replied. The pause remains. The officer stepped forward, extending a hand for the bag. I placed it there without ceremony. The glass podium reflected the stage lights back at us, clean and unflinching. Anything else, the officer asked. No, I said. The room has what it needs. Evan stared at the screen, then at the crowd that no longer laughed. You're cold, he said. I'm clear, I replied. The officer secured the bag and stepped aside. The projector hummed, then dimmed at Marcus's touch. People exhaled. Conversations restarted and lower registers changed. Evan turned away, shoulders tight. This ends partnerships, he muttered. It defines them, I said. With the proof displayed and authority present, the stage belonged to consequences, not voices. The stage felt quieter after the officer stepped aside, not empty, but settled, as if the room had decided to keep its voice low now that the facts had spoken. And I stood near the glass podium while staff reset microphones and chairs, with the care people use when they know records are still being made. The payoff did not announce itself. It arrived through procedure, through movement, through the way power changes hands without asking for applause, and my immediate goal was to let consequences execute without adding a word that could be argued later. Dana remained one pace behind me, eyes on the aisle, while Marcus coordinated with ops, in murmurs that sounded like maintenance but carried weight. Evan had retreated to the edge of the stage posture, rigid parents close enough to touch him, but not quite doing it. "We'll proceed," the MC said, voice steadier than before. "Please remain seated." A few guests stood anyway, then sat again, unsure which instinct was correct. "This isn't a verdict," Evan said loudly, trying to reclaim air. "It's a pause." "Pauses change outcomes," Dana replied, calm, "especially when they're enforced." The lead compliance officer returned clipboard in hand, glass podium, reflecting the overhead lights back into his eyes. "We'll need the program materials," he said, "and access to the back office." "Granted," Marcus said. "Escorts ready." "You don't have authority to do this," Evan said, stepping forward. "Say it again. Your title is air partner, not approving authority." The officer replied, polite, final. A ripple of sound passed through the room. Not laughter, not outrage, just recognition that the language had shifted. Richard Whitlock cleared his throat. "We'll comply," he said. "Under protest." "Noted," the officer said. "Protests don't reverse locks." Margaret stood smoothing her jacket. "This will have consequences," she said to me, eyes sharp. "It already has," I replied. "They're measurable." She laughed once, brittle. "You think you won?" "No," I said. "I think we finished." The officer nodded toward the podium. "We'll secure the lectern area," he said. "Please step back." I did, hands empty, letting the glass catch the light without my reflection crowding it. The MC looked between us. "Shall we continue with the agenda?" "Yes," Marcus said. "Proceed as scheduled." A few people exhaled, relieved to be told what to do. The officer spoke quietly into his radio. Two staffers approached Evan with open palms. Sir One said, "We need you off the stage." Evan laughed sharply. "This is my event. It's the venue's," Marcus said. "And it's ongoing." "You can't remove me," Evan said. "We're not removing," the officer said. "We're relocating." To where Evan demanded. "Anywhere not here," the officer replied. A murmur ran through the crowd. "He's being escorted," someone whispered. "Is that normal?" "It is when procedures trigger," Dana said, not raising her voice. Evan looked at his parents. Margaret shook her head, lips pressed. Richard nodded once, resigned. Evan's shoulders sagged, then squared. "This isn't over," he said louder than necessary. "We'll contest everything." "You can?" Dana replied. "The pause remains." The officer gestured again. Evan stepped down, glass podium gleaming behind him like a line he could not cross. "Read the clause out loud." A voice near the back said, not mocking, now just curious. "The room should hear it." The MC swallowed. "We'll move on," he said. The band struck a soft note, uncertain, then steadied. The room shifted from spectacle to aftermath, people recalibrating their conversations to fit a new shape. "You did this," Evan said, as he passed me, voice low. "You showed us." "You did it," I replied. "We recorded." He stopped, eyes flashing. "You think this makes you untouchable?" "No," I said. "It makes me accurate." He shook his head and was guided toward the side door, security wristbands flashing briefly as they passed under the lights. The officer returned to the podium area. "We'll collect the remaining materials," he said, "and we'll remain on site." "Thank you," Marcus said. "We'll cooperate." "Good," the officer replied. "It keeps rooms calm." Dana leaned in. "The notice is circulating," she murmured. "Partners will receive it within the hour." "Let it," I said. "Silence will do the rest." A guest approached me hesitantly. "I'm sorry," she said. "That was uncomfortable." "Truth often is," I replied. "But it holds." Another guest nodded. "You handled that," he said. "Cold." "Clear," I corrected. The MC announced the next segment, voice gaining confidence as the room followed. Applause returned, muted but real, the kind that acknowledges process rather than performance. The glass podium stood unused now, a reflective reminder of where authority had paused and where it had moved. Dana watched the aisle. "They'll try to spin," she said. "They always do. Spins need traction," I said. "This floor is glass." Marcus checked his earpiece. "All exits covered," he said. "No incidents." "Good," I said. "Keep it boring." The officer nodded, approving. "Boring keeps records clean." Richard Whitlock approached, posture careful. "We'll be in touch," he said. "Our counsel will contact yours." "They have the address," Dana replied. "And the documents." He nodded, eyes lingering on the podium, then turned away. The band played on. Plates were cleared. Conversations softened. The room learned a new etiquette, less bravado, more listening. At the glass podium, procedure replaced performance, and the room accepted the change. I stepped back into the aisle, letting staff move freely, letting the night resume its shape without me at the center. Consequences landed without noise, and the room learned to follow them. I stand near the side exit where the door latch chain hangs slack against painted metal. The ballroom noise softened behind me into a workable hush, and the present feels steadier than it did hours ago, because nothing here is pretending anymore. The light stays on, not the glare of the stage, but the practical brightness that keeps corners honest, and I watch staff move with an ease that comes after decisions settle. Marcus passes, nodding once his earpiece finally quiet, and Dana texts a single word received that needs no reply. Guests drift past, conversations recalibrated into careful sentences, and I notice how people look at the latch chain as they leave, fingers brushing it unconsciously, as if checking whether exits still behave the way they expect. The night proceeds without me at the center, which is the point. Authority did its work and stepped aside, leaving the room to carry on under rules that don't require applause. A server asks if I need anything. "No," I say. "Thank you." He smiles, relieved by the simplicity. The officer at the aisle confers quietly with ops, then moves on. Presence. Now a background hum rather than a headline, and I feel the shift complete itself. What was spectacle is procedure. What was loud is recorded. What was cruel is inert. I test the latch chain with my fingers and feel its familiar resistance, the way it stops you exactly where it should. And I think of how access always feels invisible until it isn't. A woman I recognize from the front row approaches, voice low. I wanted to say she begins, then pauses, searching for a word that won't argue later. "Thank you for keeping it clean." "Clean keeps rooms usable," I reply. She nods and goes lighter. The band finishes a set, and the applause that follows is modest, sincere, not borrowed from adrenaline. I watch the stage from here and see how empty it looks without performance filling it, just equipment and glass reflecting faces back to themselves. Nothing hid once the light stayed on, and the room accepted that truth without needing to be told. I checked my phone once, not for messages but for the time, and then put it away. The work that mattered already happened. Outside the ballroom, the corridor is cool and plain, doors labeled clearly "no tricks," and the latch chain's weight reminds me that permission is not a mood, but a mechanism. I step through the exit to let a small group pass, then step back, letting the door close with a soft finality that sounds like relief. Someone laughs nearby, a real laugh this time, and it lands without barbs. The night continues in that way, unremarkable, and therefore correct, and I feel the steady satisfaction of systems doing what they were built to do when someone insists they be used. Dana joins me, loosening her shoulders. "We're done," she says. "For tonight." "Good," I reply. "The rest will be paperwork." "Paperwork is honest," she says. "When it's filed." We share a brief smile, not conspiratorial, just aligned, and she heads back toward the bar to retrieve her coat. I take one more look at the latch chain, then at the faces moving past the exit, and notice how the light makes everyone readable, now not judged, just seen. I don't linger. I walk the perimeter once, confirming what I already know. The room holds the exits. Behave, the records exist. When I return to the doorway, a staffer thanks me again, quieter than before, and I nod because thanks don't need to echo to be heard. The latch chain cools against my palm as I let go, and I feel the room breathe behind me, steady and ordinary, the way places are after they choose order over performance. I leave the light on and the door chained correctly because that's how rooms stay honest. When clarity replaces noise, the night keeps moving without asking permission.